Hi, and welcome to the BSSS e-content video platform. My name is Piyush Pradhan, and I'm from the Department of English. Today, our topic of the day is articles. The use of articles in English language might sound very effortless for most of us, whether we are teachers or students. But according to the Grammar Bank, they are taken as complicated features, as they consist of very diverse rules for the usages in diverse situations. We think that it's a piece of cake for us to just simply take the three different articles, a, an, and the or the. However, it becomes useful if the rules of articles are generally read carefully. We have to take articles in order to gain good learning working use of it. And how do we take it? Well, out of the four basic core features of English as reading, writing, listening, and speaking, we'll have to consider the use of articles, especially for two features. That includes reading and listening. Now, how do we take an article for reading and listening? An article is not stressed so much in its actual use when it comes to reading and listening. Thereby, it won't make any difference if an individual doesn't listen to its full value. You see, a native speaker would always help you when you use an article, and then it is best to avoid it. So we have to understand that in non-native speaking countries like India or any other Asian countries, we might somewhat be quite not so much aware of the use of articles for difficult situations, especially the complex situations. So a native individual can actually help you to take up those articles carefully. In this part of the slide, we'll be talking about the table of article. Look at this table on your screen in front. There are three different columns. The first column consists of number, the second one indefinite use of article, and the definite use. When it comes to the singular form, we consider a and an as indefinite use of any situation we have, and we consider the use of the as a definite article or termed as proper noun article. In plural, as you can see, we cannot consider any indefinite article, but of course it will be available for the definite case. In non-countable nouns, we again find that we only have the use of the for definite form and not for the indefinite form. We'll be now looking at some article quick hint I would like to share with you. The use of an article is based largely on use of vowels plus consonants. That is the use of A, E, I, O, U as 5 vowels, and rest will be termed under the consonant situations. Let's look at these instances for a while. We attach the use of article A or A before a consonant and N before a vowel. That's a basic rule of articles. For example, a book, a pen, a paper. Then, for the vowel use, an elephant, an exam, an hour. We'll be now looking at some of the consonant and vowel sounds, some which will include the use of N, and rest will be in the form of A or A. For example, if we talk about the degree of MBA, we have to attach an article N, an MBA. But most of you will have the confusion that even if the word university consists of the first alphabet U, why on earth am I not taking N? Well, we have to see that sometimes some of the consonants sounds like vowels. That is why we have to attach A instead of N. Thereby, the name of this university will be taken as a university. This is according to the rules which are primarily used for vowels and consonants. And we have to be very precise because we have to consider this part for the process of pronunciation. For example, if I take the word H-O-U-R, in America, the Americans will pronounce this word as hour. But when it comes to British, they'll be pronouncing it as an R. So we are attaching the article N with R. So the moment we start taking articles for the pronunciation procedure, we find that it started telling us a different story. So it depends upon person to person, what is the situation like, and how sometimes the consonants are actually considered as vowel sounds. In this part of the video, we'll be talking about the human health or illnesses. I have included some bodily human health and illnesses features. For example, I'll be talking about some of the words which the patient has to use before a doctor when the patient visits a clinic. Over here we have a kind of a consultation of a doctor and a patient. The patient says, well, I'm suffering from some illness. He says to the doctor, I have got a headache, a cold, a backache, and a fever, or any other body illness. Now, what we have to concentrate over here is that we cannot change the use of article with anything else. For example, I could not have spoken the same statement as, I have got the headache, a cold, the backache, and a fever. Now that sounds very inappropriate. It's impossible to say that because we cannot mix common nouns and proper nouns. When we have to define the importance of something, then we use the definite article, which is used under the proper feature, like the Taj Mahal, etc. So in the same way, over here when we are mentioning multiple body illnesses, so we are taking the article "are" to define the diverse illnesses of the body. I hope you all have understood. Now let's just work on some of the rules using these articles. I am going to make a difference right now with the help of two different features or rules right now for articles. That will be the singular count nouns, and the another part will be talking about the common nouns or the use of proper nouns. The use of definite and indefinite articles such as are plus the depends upon the situation in which you want to handle these two articles. How it is done? Let us just see. Look at this statement down below. My lovely daughter wants to buy a teddy bear this weekend from mall. Now I have attached the article "a" with teddy bear because teddy bear is a common noun. It's not a proper noun because I'm not talking about the quality of this particular feature. That is why I'm attaching "a." In the second sentence, we'll be focusing primarily on a special feature. That is why I have attached the article "the." The Barbie doll, 10 years old, invested with demonic influence, is solely responsible for 10 deaths of girls within this ghost town. Now, in this part of the statement, if you could just read the entire statement, by the end, you find that we are concentrating on a special feature of this Barbie doll. What was her special feature? Well, this Barbie doll was responsible for the death of some girls of the neighborhood. That is why I am specifically, peculiarly taking this word Barbie doll. So that is why I've attached the article "the." In the next sentence, we'll again be focusing on the use of the common noun. The baby girl has requested a soft puppy to play within house. And now the end statement. The puppy has accidentally bit the girl's leg in the absence of a mother. Again, in the sentence above, we were talking about the common use. That is why the puppy was considered under its quality. The puppy was soft and fluffy. That's why I've attached a. But over here, when it comes to some kind of special feature, I've attached the article the. The puppy has accidentally bit. So bit is what the word we have concentrated upon. We'll be now talking about the plural count nouns. In this, there will be a use of the article the, but we cannot use a. Why? It's because in Asian countries, it is primarily witnessed that attestation of the proper noun the is done in every statement, whether it is needed or not. So we find that in Asian countries where English is taken as non-native language, people unnecessarily sometimes take such kind of use of article in literally every statement, but that should not be done. We have to be very specific about the use of definite and indefinite use of nouns every time we attach articles. How it is done, let us just understand by these statements. The first statement before us is, please come and look at the children. We are talking about the collective form, and we have to take this statement under a definite form. That is why I have taken the article the children. Next statement, children are always curious by their nature and character. This statement is an indefinite statement. So thereby, we are not permitted to attach a. We have just directly started with the noun children. All right, did you find the difference? I hope you have understood the difference now between the and a. That's how these plural count nouns actually work. Now look at these two statements down below. She loves the red flowers of the backyard of her house so much. I've underlined on the part of so much. It's because I want to make you concentrate on the use of countables and uncountables. So we have to see that whether the situation is definite or indefinite, or we are considering it in a form of countable or uncountable, things tends to change because we are specifying on something. Like in this sentence with so much, we have used red flowers. So I've attached the articles the red flowers. How can we not attach the in red flowers? Well, it can be done like this. Red flowers of a house garden are so close to her heart that she likes them so much. Now, most of you might have a question that why is that for every statement we are not careful about the use of the and a? Well, that is not the case. The problem is that we just blindfoldedly try to take and attach articles based on our own personal choices. But that should not be done. We must, according to the article rule, must read the entire statement. And by the time you make a calculated thought about what sense that statement is trying to make, you should not just reach or jump to any conclusion. That is why I told you that articles do include rules, and they are not just very simple, especially when it comes to academic writing skills for some students of the college and universities. Now, this is the most careful part of our video clip in which we'll be talking about the two different conditions, the conditions used for use of articles. Condition number 1. Let's make a difference between these three statements. Your statement is the same, yet it differs by the use of articles. The first statement states, I fancy reading grammar rules. it is correct in every way possible. Second, I fancy reading our grammar rules. Do you think it is correct? I'm afraid not. We are not permitted to attach "are" over here. It should be without "are," because a picture completes without "are" and making a meaningful sense. The third part of it, do I fancy reading the grammar rules on this 11th page of the blue book? This I've taken in a form of an interrogative statement. So, my theme was the same, yet the use of the articles differed based on the use of the condition. I hope you have understood the story of this first condition. Let's just take the story of the second condition we have for articles. Read out again these three statements. I read books every day, placed on top table of my study room. Should I repeat the statement? Yes, I should. Now, please pay attention how slowly I'm going to speak this time. I read books every day, placed on top table of my study room. Now, I have not attached any article again in this. I have not taken "n" or "the." Both were incorrect. But when I take "I read our books every day, placed on top table," it's going to be totally wrong, because books are in collective forms. I'm not talking about a singular book. Had it been a singular book, that means the omission of "s", then I could have attached the article "a", otherwise not. And the last situation, the heap of everyday books placed on top my study table are the real delight of every night for me. Over here, again, our concentration was not on the word book, but this time I have taken the article "the" in two different separate positions. First, I took it with the word heap, and then I took it with the word real delight. We have now reached to the conclusion part of the use of our articles, where in this part of the slide, we'll be talking about the non-countable nouns. In this, the use of article will be "the." And if any situation does not demand the article "the," then consider nothing. Now look at the beauty of these non-countable nouns with the help of these statements I have for you all. Let's begin. Mechanics have experiences in life. What have we understood by this statement? We understood this particular statement in the way where we find that if condition adopted is indefinite, then only it should be considered with the help of the article "the" or anything mentioned for the very first time. We cannot attach "are" or "n" because it does not fit in this particular use of non-countable noun statement. Now the same statement taken with the help of "the." The mechanics have experiences as life. That is absolutely wrong. In the previous statement, I began the statement with "mechanics have experiences." But over here, I've taken "the mechanics have experiences." Now that is wrong. A non-native English speaker might not understand it academically, but for a native speaker, if someone has even the slightest knowledge of the rules of articles, then that person will immediately reject this statement. The third part of the same procedure, the mechanic has experience of 14 years necessary for the job. Look at the highlighted version that begin from "the experience" till "job" at Mercedes-Benz outlet. Now over here I can take the proper noun and the indefinite article "the," because we are taking the figure of 14 years of experience. That is why we are primarily focusing on one mechanic instead of many. Now the last statements. Medicines prescribed to a patient might have unpleasant effects on body. How can we rewrite it with the help of non-countable nouns? The medicines taken in prescribed amount is beneficial for the body to heal candidly. I hope you all have enjoyed this video of article with me, and I'll be delighted to help you in immediate future soon. Thank you so much for being with me.